Hi guys, going for a little bit of a different video today. Excuse the hair, I've been avoiding any sort of big video because, I don't know, I look like a toilet brush at the moment. But I had my AstraZeneca vaccine during the week, my first one. So I wanted to spend this video, one, eating as usual, and also talking about my experience with it. So let's focus on the eating side now. My goal is to order the hottest curry from my local Indian. I'll eat that whilst talking about my experience. Okay, so I've collected my food. Here we go. Let's go through what I got myself. Got a naan, obviously a Peshwari naan. Oh, they've thrown in a poppadom here. Can't complain about that. Like, I don't know what to call it. The stuff that they give you, the condiments, onion bhajis, sag paneer, the vindaloo. It's the first time for me. Like as you know, or as you would have seen, I'm fine with spice and I like spice. But whenever I go to an Indian, I like 99% of the time buy a korma, and the other 1% of the time is like maybe a butter chicken or a tikka masala. But it's very rare because I love a korma, so I don't really branch out too often. But I've wanted to, I just didn't know what to do and I didn't have any reason to. Like, I don't want to spend money and then not enjoy something when I know that I enjoy a korma. I want to have an onion bhaji now. Onion bhajis are insane. Sag paneer. So, for those of you that don't know what sag paneer is and are cheese lovers, you need to get it. So it's basically, it is paneer, which is Indian cheese with like spinach. It's creamy, really nice. And for you like halloumi or cheese lovers, you know, those cheeses that keep their consistency, you'll love it. Shall we try a piece of this chicken? Here we go, this is the vindaloo. Never tried it before. I like the consistency of the sauce, it kind of just looks like a tikka masala. That piece of chicken. Anyway, let's talk about AstraZeneca and the vaccine. So I had my vaccine on Tuesday. It's fine, you know, I have no problem with needles or anything. But then 4 o'clock in the morning, well, Wednesday morning, I actually woke up. It was really cold that night anyway, but I was literally like viciously shivering. I thought I was like borderline hypothermic. I was just that cold. As you probably saw from my videos earlier, on the side of my room, I've got like a big open clothes storage thing. So I was just leaning over, pulling jumpers off, putting all these added layers on. I had my radiator on. I am in a garage conversion, so it isn't the warmest, but it's insulated to the correct levels, and obviously I have a heat source. But I was freezing, and you know when you're cold, it's hard to bring yourself to move. I managed to though, but there was a struggle. I was just viciously shivering, and I was aching a lot as well. But I managed to get myself into my own house onto the sofa, which is where I ended up staying for about 30 hours, I think. I just stayed there. But yeah, I was just on the sofa and I tried to go to sleep, but I couldn't stop like fidgeting. I couldn't stay comfortable. I was in so much pain, but I couldn't stay still because I just couldn't get comfortable. My whole body was aching. I felt like I was freezing even in the house, but which I now realise was a fever because I took my temperature the next day when I was still, you know, well, the same day, later on in the day, and when everyone was up and they could get it to me. I think it was like 38.9, which was really, really high, but I felt freezing. But I was sweating. So I was sweating, I felt freezing, my temperature was really high. So my actual temperature wasn't reflective of how I actually felt. I just felt like absolute shit. So I just like, you know, comatose myself on the sofa. I just tried to catch up with some sleep, took some paracetamol, slept. I just felt like rubbish, really. You know what, I don't know why I've never got the vindaloo before, because it's nice. Yeah, anyway, the day after I had the AstraZeneca vaccine, all the media outlets, all the papers, front of them, everything, you know, coming up on my phone, withdrawing it for under 30s due to the potential link to blood clots and the risk. But it's a very tenuous link. I believe it's a case so far, there's no concrete evidence to suggest that the vaccine is causing blood clots. They may have proved it at this point, but as far as I'm aware, it's more so correlation, not causation, you know, and that typical correlation doesn't always equal causation, but there has been a group of people who have taken the AstraZeneca vaccine and subsequently developed blood clots, and the thing that links them all together is they've all had that vaccine. But there's no clear-cut evidence to suggest that is why they had the blood clots. And the blood clot risk is still so minimal as well. Well, if it is an actual risk of it. I think something like 3 in a million. Which is a very, very small number. So I'm not concerned. I was slightly, you can't help but be concerned, but I just think rationally, when I go out in my car, I'm more likely to be in a, I don't even know if I'm more likely to be in a car accident. I'm assuming I'm more likely to be in a car accident. Car accidents are very, you know, have a high probability, I imagine. And like, I'm not going to be one of these people that now all of a sudden jumping on this bandwagon, skeptical and scared about what's in the vaccine. I understand, you know, be cautious. If you want to be cautious, there's nothing wrong with being cautious. But why have we all of a sudden overnight gotten overly obsessed with what we put into our body? We all go to McDonald's, we all eat junk food, processed food, all this rubbish that contains all sorts of things that we don't, you know, we take no notice of. We don't know the implications of them. Or there's things we know the implications of. People smoke, they eat red meat. There's all sorts of correlations between these things and illnesses later on in life. And people do this and they don't care. You know, they don't have a second thought. But now all of a sudden, everyone's extra, oh no, I think we've been locked away for a while. And people are just paranoid, really. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet. There's a lot of, you know, very specifically designed posts on the internet, videos, pictures, which are designed to incite fear in people, designed to have a certain, you know, cause a certain reaction in people. Unfortunately, I think it is working. I think pre-pandemic, the idea of being anti-vax was very, very fringe. Because we could all recognise the benefits. But unfortunately, during this pandemic, in an environment where you would think, actually, that's highlighted why vaccines are so important, because when we don't have these natural immunities and we don't have any protection, look what it does to the population. Look how many people it can kill. Look how it stops our economy. That would have been an example of why we need vaccines, not created this bigger issue surrounding people not wanting vaccines. And, you know, I believe it should be down to the individual person to choose. I don't think it should be forced on anybody. I think the ability to, you know, to make autonomous decisions is very important. And I don't think people should be forced to. I'm happy I've had mine now. I wasn't really too fussed. Especially now with the prospect of potential vaccine passports, I'm happy because it means I can, you know, I'm not going to be restricted from doing things. Now, vaccine passports have been a very taboo subject at the moment. There's lots of concerns over it. People aren't happy with it, but it's not really a new thing. How many, you know, times have people gone on holiday to certain countries which require that you get certain jabs? It's not a new thing. You don't have to go to that country, but if a country wants to set a rule that you need to have been vaccinated or had this vaccine first, it's nothing new, it's nothing ridiculous. And I think that same sort of right should realistically be able to extend to private businesses as well. If they want to impose that rule, it's their right to do so, just so it's your right to not want to do it. You don't have to shop there. And obviously they're then going to have to make a decision based on that. You know, if they enforce this rule and you exercise your right not to have the vaccine, which in turn means you can't shop there, well, they're losing a customer there. So they're going to have to balance, they're going to balance these things against each other. But if you believe in your right to not be vaccinated, you should also believe in the right for private businesses and countries to not let you use their facilities or enter the country without having a vaccine. I think freedom of choice is it's like a two-way street, Food. So, what have I actually said? Yeah, so I've had my vaccine, my first one. I had an awful reaction to it, but it's gone really quickly. So I took the day off work because I'd had next to no sleep because I woke up at 4 a.m. in a state and then was struggling to sleep. So I was sleeping during the day and I was like, no, I'm not going into work today. So I phoned in sick, but I went back to work the next day and was fine. No problem. And here we are the day after that. So what, 2 days after now. And yeah, I'm fine. I'm happy I had the AstraZeneca one, regardless of the fact that the next day the papers were like, oh, we're not giving them to under 30s anymore, and I'm substantially under 30, I actively, when we were doing it, I actively wanted the AstraZeneca one anyway. More so because obviously it was made and produced at Oxford University, which is one of the, the most prestigious research centres in the world. And especially here in the UK, like Oxford is very, very big. It's a big boy. So I had faith in our academics there that developed it. So I wanted their one. More so than, I'm not going to criticise everyone's because I don't know enough about them to start criticising them. I don't want this to be like a propaganda post. I would encourage people to not be scared off by the media about, or especially social media, about vaccines. Have faith. I don't understand where faith has gone in things because we've always gone about not considering what is in lots of the things that we consume and the possible side effects of that, but now we're all overly obsessed because we've been kept in this tank for so long. But weigh it. If they don't mandate that you need to have one through the form of like vaccine passports, which will restrict your movement, and they uphold your right to choose, I'm not going to criticise your ability to choose. Weigh it up as an individual. So it's down to you. Just don't make your decision based on fear perpetuated through the internet. Make a rational decision, not an emotive decision. There's a lot more people dying from COVID than are having bad reactions to the vaccine. And yes, there's the argument we don't know the future consequences of the vaccine, and we look and we bring up data on old vaccines and where there's been issues. The thing with medical development and medical research and medical science is that the way in which it develops is exponentially increasing. It's not been a constant rate of, from the 1960s to now of, shallow steep, a non-steep gradient, a small gradient, yeah? It's, a curve. It's exponentially increasing when you think our technological development, especially in the medical field. So to compare a vaccine of today and the speed in which it is put out in this certain environment to a vaccine in the 60s or the 70s, it's a silly comparison really, because they're light years away from each other comparatively in terms of technological advancement. I've eaten a vindaloo, it's not that hot. I had the vaccine, had a bad reaction to it, I am fine now, I will have my second one when I'm offered it. If you get offered it, have it. If you don't want to have it, don't have it. But if they introduce vaccine passports, then you need to make a decision of what you prioritise more, your ability to not have it or your ability to use private businesses or enter other countries. If you have the right to reject the vaccine, they have the right to reject you. We've just got to accept that. I'm sure when it boils down to it, we're all sensible enough to make our own decisions, and hopefully we make the right decisions. But yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you. Goodbye.